core courses taught by the industry, and this is back to 2002. Okay, so but since video-based learning is the new norm now, I believe we as educators need to create or design better instructional videos for our students. And we can do this by understanding how human process information. So that's why, or that's what I want to deliver today. Okay. So before that, I just want to give you a heads up on this webinar. Okay. So part 1, I'll be doing the talking mostly, of course. It will be the introduction to theories and guidelines. Okay. The theories would be cognitive load theory and cognitive theory of multimedia learning, or we call it CTML. Okay. And part 2, we will have a group activity, a breakout session, because I believe if we have 2 hours, only I'm doing the talking, you will be overloaded with information. So I think the group activity will help you to apply what you have learned in the introduction part and then understand better. Okay. And then part 3 will be the summary of this webinar. Okay. So hopefully, okay, after this webinar, you will apply what you have learned to create better video content for your students. So video content here may be your micro-credential videos, right? Or maybe your pre-recorded video lecture, or maybe your synchronous online lecture, just what I'm doing right now, okay? So it depends on what type of video that you are creating. But I believe maybe not all of the guidelines or theories or principles can be applied, but you can choose which principles or guidelines that are most relevant to your type of video that you want to create. Okay. Everything okay now? Everything okay? So far, so good? Dr. Chow always say that. Okay, thank you, thank you. So again, the topics covered, like I said before, cognitive load theory, cognitive theory of multimedia learning, and guidelines to create better video content. Okay, so let me just be honest. Let me just be honest with you. Okay, for me, cognitive load theory and cognitive theory of multimedia learning might be too hard to understand in a 1 hour or 2 hours online lecture. Okay, so I will simplify it. Hopefully, I managed to do that. Okay, so that you can understand it. Okay, and then understand it and see how it will be applied to create better video content. Okay, so let us move on to part 1, the introduction part. First, cognitive load theory. So this theory is actually proposed by John Sweller in 1988. Okay, he's been researching on, I think, problem solving, something like that, and he come up with this problem solving activity, or problem solving, the cognitive process of problem solving. So he come up with this, he proposed this cognitive load theory. Okay, so it actually builds upon how human process information. This figure here, let me use my annotation. Okay, so this figure here is actually the model of information processing. Okay, sorry about that. So as you can see, there are three types of memory. We have sensory memory, working memory, and long-term memory. Okay. You can click the source later. I will share the slide later. Okay. So cognitive load theory builds upon how human process information. Okay. So next, it explains how we process and remember information. Okay, it relates back on this figure. Okay, so um, as you can see here, when we receive information, okay, it will comes to the sensory memory. Okay, sometimes it will be forgotten, or you can, if you will process it if it's important to you in the working memory, and then through rehearsal, through practice, you will store it in the long-term memory. Okay, so that's just like a simplified version of how we process or remember information. Okay, and then we have cognitive load theory proposed that too much or too complex information is harmful to learning. So hopefully, by simplifying the cognitive load theory to you, I know you are not, many of you, I think most of you may not be from the education or psychology background. So that's why I want to simplify it so that you can understand it, and it will not be too complex for you, so that you can understand and apply it later. Okay, so what is actually cognitive load? Okay, it refers to the amount of information that working memory can hold at one time. Okay, so working memory has a limited capacity, the one that I showed the figure before. Okay, working memory is at the center between the sensory memory and the, let me go back, sensory memory and the long-term memory, where we store our knowledge or understanding. Okay, so learning, so based on this cognitive load, we need to design a learning experience to reduce this working memory load so that it can be processed and stored in the long-term memory. Okay. We need to avoid overloading it with additional information that don't directly contribute to learning. I will explain more later this additional information. Okay, this additional information can be unrelevant pictures, background music that's totally irrelevant to the content. Okay, did not will not contribute to the understanding of our students. Complex background, as you can see here, I'm using a uh, plain and whitish background, so that it will not, hopefully, okay, increase your cognitive load. Okay, uh, maybe you some back on back in those days, we have like slight transition or animation with sound effects, right? So that is actually additional information that might not be contributing to our students' learning. Okay, so we will discuss more later. Okay, so there are three types of cognitive load. So the first one is intrinsic cognitive load. Okay, intrinsic, inherent in the learners. Okay, it is related to the complexity of the new information. Okay, So the second one is extraneous cognitive load, which I've described just now. Okay, the additional, the extra information. Okay, that's extraneous. Okay, the extra information that distracts from the key information. Okay, from the main points of the content or of the topic. Okay, and the third one or the last one is germane cognitive load. Okay, it is related to integrating new information with prior knowledge. So this actually is important. Okay, when students can relate what they are currently learning now to their prior knowledge, then can that new knowledge be stored in the long-term memory. Okay, that's why it's important that what you are learning today, okay, what I'm trying to deliver today, you can relate back to your prior knowledge. For example, okay, when I'm talking about the principles, you relate back to when you design your PowerPoint slide, for example, or when you design your micro-credential videos, or when you design your pre-recorded video lesson. So that's how you can understand more and start what you learned today in your long-term memory, hopefully, okay? Okay, so to we need to, okay, so from this type, three types of cognitive load, okay, for the intrinsic cognitive load, we need to simplify, okay, if the new information is complex, okay, and then we need to reduce the extraneous cognitive load, okay. Maybe we remove the extra information such as irrelevant graphics, irrelevant music, or background, complex background. We need to remove that, okay. And then we need to increase how students integrate or link new information that they are currently learning with their prior knowledge, okay. So, any questions or concerns? Everything okay? Okay. Anyone? Okay. Everyone? Okay. Okay. All good. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. So, these are the three types of cognitive load. Okay. Okay. Oops. Okay. So, now let us move on to cognitive theory of multimedia learning, or CTML. So CTML is proposed by Richard Mayer. Okay, he and his friends conducted several studies or research to show that or propose this cognitive, or not propose this cognitive, to propose the multimedia principles based on this cognitive theory of multimedia learning. So I would say that the multimedia principles that I will introduce to you later is research based. Okay, most of them are researched by, of course, Mayer. Okay, so it actually builds upon cognitive load theory. It's related to the limited capacity of how human process information. Okay, so based on this CTML, it proposed that a working memory has two channels. Okay, when we receive information, okay, now as you are listening to my online lecture, you receive the information that I'm talking and showing through two channels. Okay, visual, you can see what I have showed you, presented to you. Okay, visual, and second, auditory. So you are listening to my voice, talking or presenting the information. Okay, so that's what's the cognitive theory of multimedia learning proposing. Okay, working memory has two channels. Learners receive information through two channel, visual and also auditory. Okay, and again, similar to cognitive load theory, working memory has limited capacity. We don't want to overloading it with extra information or unrelated information or graphic or music. Okay, so based on this theory, the use of both channels, okay, remember, the use of both channels can facilitate the integration of new information with prior knowledge. Okay, do you still remember? The integration of new information with prior knowledge is related to germane cognitive load. Okay, so from this statement, it is proposing that when we students learn better when they receive information or content or the learning materials through visual. Okay, they can see the information, and through auditory, they can hear you explaining it. Okay, okay. So based on this cognitive theory of multimedia learning, we have the multimedia principles. So basically, multimedia principles state that people learn better from words and graphics than from words alone. So this relates back to the dual channel that I'm talking just now. Okay, through visual and auditory. Okay, that's why people learn better from words and graphics. I know it's kind of simplistic or too simple, okay? But we have we will learn the principles, okay? And it will be clearer when I show you the some examples of these principles, okay? So there are actually 12 multimedia principles proposed by Mayer. Okay, I will not be talking about these 12 principles today, because today I will only share the principles that are related to creating a video lesson. Okay, but if you are interested, you can go and download. This is only a page, a one-page information on the 12 multimedia principles. This actually will help you to design your PowerPoint slides, okay? And these principles are already like researched by Mayer, and until today, these principles are studied, okay? And usually, the studies or research are done in PTPM. Some of the students will study these multimedia principles on how it affects students' learning, students' motivation, or something like that. Okay. So if you want to know more about these multimedia principles, the 12 multimedia principles, you can go to this link. Okay. And if you have any questions on that, you can just email me or later. Okay. So so today we will learn several multimedia principles or relevant multimedia principles to design or create instructional videos, okay, to manage intrinsic cognitive load, okay. This is related to the complexity of the information that we are trying to deliver. We want to reduce extraneous cognitive load. This is related to the extra or additional information that will not contribute to students' learning. That's why we want to reduce it. Okay. And then we want to maximize germane cognitive load. Okay, germane cognitive load relates to students' ability to link new information that they are learning to their prior knowledge, and hopefully through this linking, it will be easier for the new information to be stored in the long-term memory. Okay, so hopefully this, when we try to manage, reduce and maximize cognitive load, we will enhance students learning from video lessons. Okay, first signaling principle. Okay, when you, well, okay, just we can just move on. Okay, what is signaling principle? Okay, based on this principle, it states that students learn better when cues are added to direct their attention to the important information. Okay, as you can see here on my slide, you can see the color cues are red, using red color. Direct their attention is using red color. That's an example of signaling principle. We want to highlight that because that's important or key points of the long paragraph there. Okay, so how does this affect cognitive load? Okay, students' cognitive load. So it will reduce extraneous cognitive load. It will guide learners' attention. So maybe in a slide, there are many things or many description, okay, many words. For example, my slide, okay, there are many words here, okay. So we are using cues or the, I'm using red colored, okay, highlight on red colored words, okay, to direct or guide your attention to the main point, okay. So do you think in your current practice, are you applying signaling principle? Anyone would like to share based on this definition or description? Do you think you are currently applying this signaling principle? Yeah, using cues. Yes, right? So maybe you actually are applying them, but you didn't know the the science behind it or the name of it, right? Yes, right? Okay, let us move on. Thank you so much for responding. Okay, so it will help to also maximize germane cognitive load. Okay, they will help the signal, okay, the cues will help students to build cognition, connection with the important information. Okay, but remember, you need to use it sparingly. Okay, don't use it too much. If it's too much, then your student will be overloaded with the signal. Okay, so there are two types of signaling. Okay, verbal signaling, orally, okay, talking, voice, spoken words, and we have visual signaling, where we presented our slide, how we design our slide, or okay, or how we design the video content. Okay, so verbal signaling outline the important points. Okay, vocal emphasis on keywords. That's how you can signal the important or the key points of your lecture or point or content. Okay, or use pointer words. Okay, pointer words, this refers to, or example is, you said, okay, first, okay, you state the first key points. Okay, second, you state the second key point. Okay, so that's how you apply verbal signaling. Okay, okay, visual signaling. Other than the cues, from the description, okay, do you think or can you give other example of how you highlight important or key points in your slide, other than using red colored contrasting words? Anyone? Yes, bold. Yes, it can be. It can be a signal. Good. Bolded letters. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Other than this bold using different color to contrast the key information. Yes, italic can be underlined. Yes. Other than playing with the words, maybe use. Okay, let me share. You can use arrows to point the important information. Okay, so that's and then you can use distinctive colors, of course. Okay, flashing. This flashing can be through animation, okay, on our PowerPoint, and then you can save it in video form. And then pointing gesture. Okay, so pointing gesture might be, if you are in the video lesson, you can use your pointing gesture. Okay, so that's why this as you can see, okay, if you are pre-recording your video lesson, or you are designing or creating your micro-credential courses. I know I'm currently doing it now, but okay, it's not it's not done yet. Okay, far away from done. Okay, so if you are currently doing that, creating the micro-credential course or MOOC courses, you need to remember you need to use this signaling principle, because sometimes we only talk and show the slide. Okay, I know we don't have, I know some of us would really like to record good videos, like the masterclass style videos, right? You know, the masterclass videos are always the advertisement always comes in the when we click like YouTube video, right? So actually we want to be able to do maybe some types of like masterclass videos, so that it will attract our students, right? But we don't have time as lecturers. I know we don't have the time to do that, but maybe this, I would say, simple and practical principle can be applied. Okay, so rather than just talking and showing your slide, for creating the micro-credential video, you can use these arrows or flashing or pointing gesture, okay, to highlight the key information. But remember, do not, please don't use too much, okay? It will it will overload your students, okay? So let us move on. So here, let me go back, sorry. Okay, there's another one. Okay, visual signaling example, it's graying out. So this graying out is actually here. This is an example of graying out. This is a screenshot from a video, YouTube video that I just use snip to screen to screenshot it. Okay, the video is called how to play tennis rules. Okay, so these principles is actually called graying out. So you can also use this in your video lessons to point out the important key points on what you are currently saying in the video. Okay, so the next one, segmenting principle. Okay, what is it? Okay, students learn better when information is chunked into small pieces and we provide our student with the control over the flow of the new information or the video itself. Okay, so this is actually relates to chunking information to uh, smaller information or smaller topic to help to reduce, okay, to manage, to manage intrinsic cognitive load. So intrinsic cognitive load is related to the complexity of the content. So we want to simplify the content, okay, and then hopefully this will maximize the germane cognitive load. So it will be easier for our students to comprehend, and hopefully they can link what the currently learning to their prior knowledge. So segmenting principle is actually related to chunking your content into several short topic or several short videos. Okay, so how? So we can chunk the content and present in multiple short videos. Okay, we should provide video player control bar. I think this is like auto. Okay, when we upload our video lesson to YouTube, for example, there's the control bar there. So it gives our learners the opportunity to stop, rewind, pause, or listen back to what we are saying, or they can move forward if they already understand the content, you know. So we are giving them the control to the flow of the video lesson. Okay, so I know this is only applies to, I would say, pre-recorded videos, right? If it's an online lecture like this, maybe you can have a breakout session, okay, multiple breakout session, or after learning a topic, you can give a break, for example, okay, if it's an online, if it's an live or synchronous online lecture, okay. But if it's pre-recorded, like our micro-credential courses, of course, micro-credential courses, it needs to be in short videos, okay? Based on prior research, the short videos should be, okay, should be maximum, I think, 6 minutes, okay? It should be 6 minutes or less, okay? That's what previous studies have found, okay? Okay, so it is most suitable to apply when the content is complex and or for inexperienced learners. So this is also actually really good. You need, not really good, but you need to segment or chunk your topic if you are teaching complex knowledge. For example, you want to teach use software, okay, training a software, or maybe mathematical process or something, right? So you want to chunk it in smaller information so that your students can comprehend it, okay. So this is an example. Okay, this example is from Udemy platform. Okay, I have a Udemy account because I would like to see how they design their video. Okay, we learn from the industry expert here because Udemy is usually taught by industry expert or the one that are doing the skill. Okay, for example, here this person is offering a course on the complete video production bootcamp. Okay, as you can see here, let me use my, okay, the topic or the main topic for this video, okay, is the pre-production. Get ready to make your video, okay. So they chunk or they segment this topic, main topic, okay, to here you can see three, okay, three smaller topics, okay, and one video didn't even, okay, reach 6 minutes, okay, 5 minutes, okay, the second one 4 minutes, and the third one is 4 minutes. So as you can see, this this is how segmenting principle is applied. And as I said before, the control bar will give the opportunity or control to our learners to see and view the video. Okay. What do you think about this segmenting? Do you think that you can apply it in your courses? Maybe from, I don't know, I don't know about your background. Maybe you are from mathematics or science, computer science, where you have like long process of mathematical procedure or something, or you want to train them using programming or something, like, right? Computer science, you have you need to teach your students software, right? Anyone from computer science? How do you teach your students using software? Do you chunk your content, or do you have live synchronous online learning to teach your students using a particular software? Anyone? Do you use? Okay, I use both. Okay, good. So meaning, okay, when you say you use both, which one you use first? Do you use do you use do you introduce the software training asynchronously by segmenting the or chunking the content, or you apply or you meet them online first or synchronous first? Which one first? Do you understand my question? Sorry. Dr. Haziman, ya? Maaf ya. So you use both, which is good, okay? So it's it's like emphasizing. Okay, I have a guide in words, then I record a video for each task or section. Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Sharon, I have a guide in words, then I record a video for each task. So you did use chunking, right? Because you said you for each task or section. So just make sure you segment or chunk the information. Yes, thank you. So just make sure you chunk or segment the information in smaller new information, and please, if you can, make the video less than 6 minutes. Okay, I think the micro credential maximum is 10 minutes. I think the guideline from CDAE, it's 10 minutes, so it's okay. 10 minutes should be fine too. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Okay. You see the chat. Okay. I use PowerPoint to show the steps. Okay, then I have a live WebEx session showing them how to do it. Then they can ask if they don't understand. Yes. So there are many ways to do it. Okay. Maybe the PowerPoint can be chunked. Okay. You can chunk the steps into smaller new information. Okay, chunk the steps. Okay, maybe first step is 4 minutes video. PowerPoint can be recorded, right? You can record yourself video and also your audio to present the steps in PowerPoint, and then you save it as MP4. I think you can save it as a video content, right? And then of course we need a live WebEx session, some kind of practical or tutorial, right? So that they can show you that, or you can show them how it's been done based on the PowerPoint that you have give them, right? Thank you so much for responding. Okay, so the third one, coherence principles. Okay, so what is it? Students learn better when extraneous material is excluded rather than included. Okay, so by doing this, it will reduce extraneous cognitive load. Okay, we need to exclude irrelevant words, pictures, sounds, music, or symbols. Okay, so how we need to exclude in, remember, although it's interesting, okay, but if it's not relevant or not related to our content, the research shows that it will not contribute to students' learning. Okay, this will increase their cognitive load. They might see the pictures. Okay, they might hear the background sound rather than processing the main points of your lecture. Okay, that's why although the picture is interesting, although there are words, maybe the words is motivational words, okay, but if it's not related to the content of your lesson, research shows that you might as well just exclude it to reduce students' cognitive load. Okay, so it's the same thing. Remove unneeded words, symbols, or complex background. Okay, so remember, less is more. Okay, I think maybe, okay, without knowing these principles, okay, I would say like most of us lecturers like this, like to include extra pictures, okay, extra words in our slide. So just remember that will not contribute to students' learning and increase their cognitive load and might hinder them from processing the important information. Okay, so just be careful with that, and maybe learning this principle today, you will apply it when you design your PowerPoint, and then later create a video content. Okay, so I just want to share a bad example of this coherence principle. So as you can see here, the topic is let's recycle. Okay, and this video, okay, this lecture contain video. Okay, and then there are extra information or extraneous information there. There are a picture of, okay, there are a picture of the earth there. Why it's there? Because let's recycle, save the earth, right? Save our planet, right? So and then we have symbols there. Okay, don't throw away garbage anywhere. Okay, so and then there's words there, love our planet. So too much, okay, and this extraneous or extra additional information will not help our students. Okay, so please remember this principle and avoid using additional information that will not contribute to students' learning. Okay. Okay, the fourth one, okay, redundancy principle. Okay, redundancy. So, students learn better from graphics and narration than graphics, narration, and printed text. So the graphics, narration, and printed text, there's the redundant between narration and printed text. And then there are graphics. Okay, if you are using graphic. In my slide, now, there are no graphic. Okay, only text and my narration or my spoken words. Okay, so this by applying this redundancy principle, we will reduce extraneous cognitive load. Okay, so based on this principle, avoid using graphic and then on-screen text or written text and narration in one slide or in one video, in your video. Okay, you need to use if you need to use text on your graphic, just make sure you use short caption. Okay, not long, not descriptive, like long descriptive words. Okay. But when no graphic is presented, important ideas can be presented with narration. Okay, so this is actually related to dual channel. If you have graphic visual, right? Text, also visual, on-screen visual, on-screen text, sorry, on-screen text. So graphic, the information from graphic and on-screen text will compete, okay, to enter our visual channel, right? The narration will go through our auditory, so it's not a problem. That's why we need to avoid graphic plus text, on-screen text, and narration, because this relates back to CTML, dual channel. We receive information through visual and auditory. So if we have graphic and text, so both are visual, it will compete to enter our visual channel, and it will be hard to process. Okay, can you follow me? Do you understand what I'm trying to say about this redundancy principle? Okay, good. I hope it's simple enough to understand if you are not from education or psychology, technology, educational technology background. Okay, thank you so much for responding. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is from I got this graphic or picture from Multimedia Learning book. Okay, you can actually buy this book. I have a hard copy of this book, but you can download it from the internet, I believe. Okay, if you want to know more. Okay, so as you can see here, A. Okay, this A. This picture, this below here is only spoken words. The lecturer only deliver this by words, narration. Okay, there is no text on in the graphic. Okay, but for B, there is text here. Okay, and then the lecturer also narrate it. Okay, also use words to describe it. Okay, so this B, the information from the graphic and this on screen will compete through our visual channel. Okay, so we don't want that. So this is how it should be. Okay, if we have graphic, on-screen text, avoid on-screen text. Okay, just use narration. Okay, but if you are teaching, okay, if you are teaching a new information to the students, and this new information contain jargon or technical terms, okay, so it's still important to use on-screen text. So please remember, okay, animation on maybe respirators, maybe on like our human body function, for example. Okay, so maybe we can still use on-screen text to show the different parts of our human body function. Okay, so although the redundancy principle said that on-screen text will hinder our students' learning because visual will the animation, the graphic will compete with the on-screen text, but short caption or short terminology, important terminology or new information should be in the animation or in the graphic. Okay. Good. The fifth one is modality principle. Okay. What is it? Okay. This principle state that students learn better when pictures, okay, or graphic are accompanied by simultaneous narration. Okay. Then from pictures and on-screen text. Okay. Okay. This is similar to the redundancy principle. Okay, the redundancy principle said that please avoid graphic together with on-screen text and narration. So redundant. Having these three will be redundant for the redundancy principle, because the on-screen text will compete mm, with the graphic through our visual channel. Okay, but here, okay, pictures accompanied by simultaneous narration is better because pictures we use visual channel, right? Narration we will use auditory channel. So there are no competition there. So it's better to have both channel. It's better for students to receive information through both channels. Okay, so that they can process information better. But as you can see here, pictures and on-screen text will compete to enter our visual channel. That's why it's not good to have pictures and on-screen text. It's better to have pictures with a simultaneous narration. Okay, when you create your video later, okay, try to do this. Okay. Okay. So how, when there's animation or graphic, present the words as narration rather than on-screen text. But just like I said before, if it's important or if it's new and contain important terminology, you need to include it short. Okay, short caption. Okay, not descriptive long words. Okay. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say. Include technical or new terminology as on-screen text. Okay. So it's the same. Okay, it's similar to the redundancy principle. Okay. So as you can see here, there is no on-screen text here. The words are only spoken words by the instructor. But here, we don't want to do this descriptive long information here. And then we also have it spoken. Okay, we don't want to do that. Okay. Okay, I think there's only two or three principles left. It's already 10:30. I would like to have a 5-minute break. Okay ya? Puan Nurliza ya. Kita rehat 5 minit ya.
Boleh, no problem.
Okay, thank
We
you.
will, we will resume in 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, everyone, can we start back? I think it's okay. So, I already shared my slide. There's a link I shared in the chat space or chat there. Okay, it's a link to this webinar slide. Okay, you can view it. You can open it and view it. Okay. Um, can we start now? Is everyone okay? Okay, thank you for responding. So, the sixth principle is actually personalization principle, human voice. So when you record your narration, okay, you record your video, of course, you are using your human voice, okay? But sometimes you create video content and you create animation, for example, and you use synthesized machine voice, okay? So please avoid that, okay? As this principle state, if you are using human voice, it's better for the students to link what they are learning with their prior knowledge. Okay. And then the seventh principle is also personalization, but it's related to what if you are using pedagogical agent or you use characters, okay, in your video lesson, okay. If you use like animation or characters, it's better for you to have human-like characters or human-like agent, okay, so that students can link better with the content, and then this will help them process the new information better, okay. And then the final one is also personalization principle. It's related to the presenter's face. Okay, if you are teaching, okay, a complex content and using complex visuals, previous study has showed that the presenter's face should not be shown while you are teaching the complex visual. Okay, this would relates back to the dual channel. Okay, if the presenter face is there and then you have a complex visual that you are trying to teach, this the face, okay, the visual of your face or the visual of the instructor face and also the complex visual will compete, okay, to enter the visual channel. That's why we should avoid showing the presenter's face. Okay. This will help also to students linking the new knowledge, okay, the new information with their prior knowledge. Okay. You know, this presenter's face, sometimes I know some of us don't like our face showed in our video lecture. Okay, some of us are shy, right? I think it's from previous research, okay, um, having the presenter face actually is better for students learning. Okay, but it depends on the many factors of course. Okay, maybe the students' preferences or students' learning style, and then it depends on our content also. As you can see here, if the content is using complex visual, it's better to not show our face in our video. Okay, so it depends on many factors. Okay, so I think I have presented or shared with you eight principle, right? So let me go back. Okay, first we have the signaling principle, okay, using cues. Then we have segmenting principle, chunking, okay. The third one, we have coherence principle. Extra or additional information should be excluded, okay. The fourth one, we have redundancy principle. Avoid having graphic, narration, and printed text on our video or on a scene in our video, okay. And then we have modality principle. Pictures with narration is better than pictures with on-screen text. Remember, all of these are related to the dual channel. Okay. So if we have pictures and narration, so the pictures will go through our visual channel and the narration will go through our auditory channel. If pictures and on-screen, both go through our visual and this will compete. Okay. And then we have personalization principle, the human voice, using your own human voice to deliver. And then we have on-screen agent or character, make sure it's human-like. Okay, and then we have the last one, still the personalization principle. If you are teaching complex visual, presenter's face should not be shown. Okay. So now, can we go to our group activity? I will, let me go to any question or concern before we do a little bit of activity. We have about 45 minutes now, right? Is it? Yeah. So any questions or concern before we go to our group activity? So I hope the slide. Okay. 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 Yeah, sure. I think I will email. Someone is having a hard time to get the slide. It's okay. I think I will email the slide to CDAE and CDAE will give it to the participants. Okay? Okay, thank you. Any questions or concerns before we go to our next part, which is the group activity? Or everything clear? I think there's 8 principles that are relevant to creating a better video. Okay. If everyone is okay, can we go to the group activity? Okay. Okay, let me stop sharing. Okay, it's okay. Okay, so hopefully no questions, no concerns means you understand. Okay, hopefully. Okay, we have, I don't know, may assign automatically number of breakout sessions. I think we have 5. Assign participants automatically. Okay. Okay, let me just, okay. Okay, so I think, okay, so for the breakout session, I think you already have your session, right? There are five, I think five. Yes, I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breakout session. Okay. Let me share the link in the breakout session. Editor, copy link.